Hello, Eurovision debate. Hello, Eurovision lovers. I am here today with Eurovision royalty. Niamh Kavanagh, hello.
Hi, Porrick. How are you? National treasure. That's how I like to be referred to.
Well, I was going to ask you, do I call you Your Majesty? Is it Mom? What way? But National Treasure.
No. Anybody who knows me, it's basically Niamh. And
Basically.
on a good day, it's Niamh.
Well, today is a good day for me. So definitely, it's a pleasure to get chatting to you. How are you getting on? How's things?
Very good. Just, reintroducing ourselves back into the real world. It's been a funny old year and a half, we're not going to lie, but everybody's had it. And although other parts of the world are kind of going back to normal quicker, but it seems to be opening up. And to me, the most important thing is that we still are able to move back into the real world. We have been largely lucky with the help of all of our family and friends here. So, and that's why we all did it. That's the truth. So, we just have to get to this stage and hope for the best for next. But, I'm great.
For a little bit to 1993. And of course, well, we all know the outcome. Yeah. Was there anything that you were nervous about whenever it came to your performance? Or were you like, what's it like to be the host nation's entrant, first of all?
I would say the host nation's entry has the least pressure in some ways because, it's not necessary to win consecutively, and it's not normal in the sense that it doesn't happen very often. It certainly has never happened 3 in a row as happened to us. But,
never.
I didn't expect us to win. I think the biggest pressure on me was to hit the notes and to do a good performance, which is the same thing I feel every time I go on stage. So that's not, I didn't feel any major difference in that. And I know that sounds a bit weird considering I was doing it to 100 million people, hundreds of millions of people. But the truth is, I think it depends on who you are as a performer or as a person. And to me, quite early on in my career, I realized that no matter when you're singing to 7 people or 350 million people, it's the same job. And so
same experience.
I put the same energy into it. And so for me, it's a very different kind of energy. So I did. I don't think I was particularly nervous going on stage. I was more nervous afterwards because that's the adrenaline runs through my body. And then I'm like, woohoo! And then nobody wants to stand beside me because it goes a bit mad. But it's quite famous. I actually fell into a box after. There was a space for lights and I actually I didn't see it and I walked into it. I wasn't as elegant coming off the stage as I was going on, but fortunately.
Good job hopping that road rather than the reverse, can you imagine?
I know, I might have been slightly thrown had it happened on the way. I know, but funny enough, not many people saw that, so that was good. That kind of worked hard. But it's a funny thing, you see that 3 minutes and of course I had a huge reaction to the song, obviously, but also a lot of people said, oh, you were so elegant and all this. And I mean, if they only saw how awkward I can be at times. I'm not that person, some people are very elegant naturally. That's not really the way I am. I'm very much myself. But they were, because I was just standing there singing the song, it was very easy to be elegant. But not so elegant leaving. But you will be nervous. It is a different thing to do it. But actually, if you think about it, Eurovision's kind of funny. You go and you enter into the bubble at the beginning of the week back then. And obviously the next time I did it was 2 weeks. So you're well entrenched. You're well entrenched in that area. So that's your new normal. The new normal for me was to be in that environment. And it's like a lot of projects you do, you become very focused in that project. So everybody involved in it, everywhere you are in it, it's about that. So you become less aware of what's beyond it. I mean, you're well aware that people are watching you on TV, but you can't see them. So the people who are right in front of you, they're the ones you're interacting with, really.
Sure.
And that's kind of the way it works, So for me, obviously it was important I sang well, but I knew there wasn't any great pressure for me to win. No one more surprised than me. That's all I'm going to say, that we won. I think Sonia was a little surprised. She was a bit upset, but it's okay.
Italy, which wouldn't really be a country that typically would give Ireland a lot of points, give first 12 points, first jury, and then Turkey gave us 1 point.
Yeah.
So
I know. Actually, you know, I have to say the funny part is you have to go back to the history of the national final a little bit here, because in the national final we went in, we were first up on the night, and everybody said, "Oh, first up." Everybody forgets about that by the time, and I was joking, you know, I was saying, "Well, you all have to follow me, so we'll just, you know," because I knew a lot of the entries, you know, in Ireland we nearly all know each other. I mean, I always joke about the fact that all us Eurovision winners live in the same house, but we really don't. But it feels like
Linda there? Is Linda in this house somewhere? Get her out there.
Yeah, but she's just around the corner. She's walking the dog, actually. No. But actually, you know what I'm talking about. It's a kind of a funny thing. You know, don't think we were prepared for all the 12s. We got practically full marks. Only Cavan gave us 10. So when the first 12 came in from Italy, the funny part of that was everybody thought, "Oh, here we go again. It's going to be all 12s." And then we got the one from Turkey, and it was no harm. It was no harm to manage expectations from early on. But actually, the real focus, I think, of the voting is that we actually got votes from everybody, which means you were in everybody's top 10. Times ultimately, that's what leads you to the win, not necessarily how many 12s you got. As we know, it was pretty exciting. The whole voting situation was like ridiculously exciting.
For yourself, and I'm sure for Sonia, that can't have been pleasant.
No, it really wasn't.
No.
You know, it wasn't near the end, you know, and it's much more. Nowadays, everybody plays up you know, you see them on X Factor and anytime anybody's giving out a result, it seems to go on forever and they're trying to build the excitement. You know, back then that wasn't the norm. Let's be honest, it wasn't. I think if you watch that voting sequence now, it probably would feel a little bit anticlimactic, actually, compared to how they build it up now. But it was absolutely stunningly exciting. You were on the edge of your seat watching it because it was really, you couldn't have choreographed it better, in the sense that Malta had voted out a sequence, and so basically it depended completely on Malta giving their 12. I mean, imagine if they'd given the 12 to the UK, you know, they would have won, and all we needed was 1 point, and we didn't even get that 1 point. So we were either going to get the 12 from Malta or we were going to go home second. And you know, to be fair, at that point I was like, I'm fine with that. I just want this to be over now. I don't care, because it's very stressful, and not just for you as a person, but everyone around you is they're very hyped. And as the night went on, we got more and more people, because we kind of started off strong and then it kind of lulled a bit in the middle bit, and then suddenly it started to build up again, and then everybody celebrated like they'd won and forgotten about Malta, and then they had to settle down. So there was like, oh my God, and then we had to get up again. So it was like a double wave. And then there's that moment where, yay, we've won, that's brilliant. Oh my God, do I still have makeup? I've been sitting here for 2 hours and my skin eats makeup, and you know, I'm not a fix things up person. Do you understand? So and people are all around me, grabbing me from all, which I don't like. I'm not very good at that. And you know, it was all a bit mad, and I had to go out and sing it again. And honestly, I was like ill prepared for that. I was like, oh right, okay, and you're just trying to get your head back into that. And they don't tell you what to do if you win. That's the other thing.
No, just grab you and the way you come back on the stage
off
again.
You go. So I actually missed the voting, and I've told that story many times, but I actually missed the award giving because I was on the wrong side of the stage. Basically, I was over saying hello to the orchestra, and they were all crying, and because they were delighted they were getting home to their families, because they'd been there for weeks, because it was in Mill Street. And then I missed it. I missed Jimmy getting his award, and although they didn't specifically need me for the award, because obviously I sang it, I didn't write it. But you know,
traditionally you would have.
Traditionally, and Linda's over the side going, you just get back over here. Like. And then of course the next thing you have to do is sing it, you know. So and that's it. And then you know the show finishes and the place is mad. Everybody's going mental, and because they were, and then the close of the transmission happens, and then the entire press corps just ran onto the stage.
Like, there's one thing I've been wanting to ask you. You know, whenever you have been awarded the 12 points from Malta, okay?
Yeah.
Who took the earring out of your ear? because I can see you going like trying to get this earring back. Everybody's like trying to hug you. You're like, I can't get this bloody earring back. Who took that out of you?
That's a funny story, actually, because that also goes back to the national final, right? The gorgeous Martina, who was one of my backing singers, the blonde girl, she was phenomenal. But on the national final, she was sitting beside me, and every time we got a 12, she gave me a pinch on the arm. She couldn't believe it, was so excited. And I had a bruise on the end arm after that, because we got like 10 or something, a ridiculous amount of 12s. So in the end, you know, she was actually behind me and she grabbed me, but I don't have my ears pierced. So every time I get earrings, they are clip-on. Okay. So nobody ripped the earring out of my ear, but Martina basically grabbed me and it just came out. And then of course I'm rubbish. I you know, so I still have them actually upstairs. So and anybody wants to have a go with them, they're welcome. I have the whole outfit. Obviously it's great when you win. Obviously that's a thing, and you enter into the Hall of Fame. But I've won one and didn't win the other, and it's you know, both of them gave me plenty of work and plenty of satisfaction. So I don't, you know, I don't see, of course, I'll never not be a winner, you know, and people often ask me, you know, did I feel like when I went back in 2010, did I feel like you know, I'd lost something? But I really didn't. I had an amazing time in Oslo. It was for 2 weeks and I performed well. And, you know, people loved what I did. It didn't matter whether we won or not. It didn't, you know, it really didn't, because it still mattered, you know, where it mattered, which is the places I work and with the people that I love. It really mattered because they loved it. And actually, weirdly, it brought me a whole group of new fans, because some people liked In Your Eyes, some people didn't, but some people love It For You because that's what they remember. And so
I know people who like either or something.
Exactly right. And so you know, there's going to be a time where that is, and you know, we all have our preferences, and we all every year we watch I'm sure it's the same for you. We watch the competition, we're invested in it, and we have our own winners. And sometimes they're the same people who win. And then sometimes my heart wants one person to win, but I know my head's saying that one's going to win. And that's the way it is. But in the end of it all, you remember what you remember out of the contest. So even the people who don't win, you still have those who should have won. And so they still are in your heart. And so you never really lose from performing on it, unless you're doing something that you're not proud of. And that's a whole other conversation.
My first Eurovision was 2010, the one I went physically
you were
attended.
In Oslo? Okay.
I was in Oslo. I was in Oslo in great arena, so it was Telenor. But I don't mind. Well, the reason
was I nice to you? I'm more concerned about that.
Horrible. So whenever I had seen the performance at the national final, I was kind of thinking, oh, we're going to do really well. We're going to win. We could possibly win this again, and then possibly do really, really well. And so the whole reason that I went to Eurovision was because
you wanted to be at a winning one.
But no, because of you. Because I remember, 1983 was so special for me for lots of different reasons, and it sort of started my love affair with Eurovision. So that for me was, I thought, you know what, Niamh Kavanagh, loved it, must go, have to go. And that's the reason I went to Eurovision, and that's what started.
I mean, were you disappointed? I mean, let's be honest, when we qualified, it felt like we won.
Yeah.
I think that.
When we qualified, it felt euphoric. Yeah, it was felt euphoric to be there and get big qualification. Yes, I was disappointed. I was disappointed for you. I was disappointed for the country. I was disappointed because there's a lot of hype. There felt like there was a lot of hype. You know,
especially after we qualified, there was a very high expectation. And the thing is, I get that. I felt sorry for even the team that came with me, who were fantastic in the sense that for them, I would have liked a better showing for us on the night. However, you know, the truth is, it doesn't really matter. You know, the thing is, I think, were you in the hall for the performance? Okay, so you know the response we got in the hall. Okay, the response in the hall was huge. It was, yes, I know. Thank you for it. You might have been the reason it happened. I don't know. But actually, there was an enormous response in the hall, because live, that song really takes you somewhere. It really does. And so to me, actually, that was enough in that sense, yes, it would have been amazing to win it, no doubt about it. But I'm not sure how Johnny would have felt about that now. But no, no, I'm kidding. You know, it would have been amazing to win again.
In the house too, no?
Yeah, me and him would have been the royal couple. He still would have been ahead of me with the writing of Linda's, but you know. But I think to be fair, I was disappointed for the people because they felt that they didn't have more of that euphoric feeling on the final. Whether we would have won or not, I think more engagement in the voting system would have been nice. However, you know, I wasn't disappointed for who we were and what we did, because it felt right what we did, and I think we did it well. So that's, you know, to me, Eurovision is actually not just about one person, it's the whole team and the whole country. So it felt in 93 like we all won, the whole crew, especially because we held it. And the crew that did 93, the whole of the orchestra, everybody who put everything into it, it felt like we all won. If I meet anyone who was at the 93 Eurovision, any crew or any fans or anybody who was there, there's a different look on their face. And even if they've been to a million Eurovisions, 93 has a place in people's heart because it was in Mill Street. It felt like a moment in the whole of Ireland's history, actually, in of music and things. But even in the zeitgeist at the time, there was a moment of, my goodness, we are on the world stage, really. But 2010, still, I remember the excitement of people, even when I was going, it surprised me. I mean, I was prepared to go out at the national final. The excitement was brilliant. It was fun. I was like super delighted to do it. And people asking me, you know, are you worried that if you don't do well here, you know? But actually, it's not about that.
It's
you know, you go and you record, you know, and so, yes, you have to be prepared to go out because it depends on what people feel like, you know. So, yeah, it would have been lovely to win it. I'm not going to lie. Like, it would have been lovely. But
of course,
you know, we did well. And I think we all still love it. And I still sing it. And I still, you know, the same way as I still. For me, actually, both experiences were very similar. You know, because my job was the same, you know, and so, all right, the outcome was slightly different, but actually afterwards I was very busy, and before I was very, you know, so that didn't really change massively in that sense. Obviously I didn't get signed for a 5-album deal immediately, but, you know, after the second one. But the funny part of it was I was still very busy across the land. It kind of brought me back out again and did lots of things. And, you know, I'm 53 and I'm still doing a lot of work in the world. So to me, what I've learned over the years is that no one thing defines you.
See, in the 90s, you know, the results for Ireland, it felt like all we needed to do was show up and do really well.
It did feel a little bit like that, yeah.
It did feel a bit like that, but that's not the case now. So is it fair to say what's going wrong?
But there are issues that have been actually in it for a long time, and I'm going to tell you now, right? I listen to this conversation every year, and I get asked these questions all the time. What have we got to do? What's going wrong? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. What's going on is exactly the same as it was in the 90s, believe it or not. The difference is the outcome was slightly different, right? People are afraid to get engaged with Eurovision, right? And I'm talking about creatives here, right? Some of them are a little bit nervous of it because they feel it's not the right path for them. They feel it's, you know, it's too kitsch, whatever the concept is. And if you look at the media around that time, you know the way the promotion goes. And we talk about the rose, you know, get the rose-colored glasses on and look back to the 90s and say how amazingly wonderful it was. But every single reporter started with, how do you feel about the kiss of death Eurovision will have on your career? That's where so it wasn't any different back then, right? How people feel about Eurovision. If you ask me what needs to happen now is that people need to stop thinking about how to win it. They need to send great songs with great singers. That's what they need. It's what we're good at. And the thing is, songwriters need to engage in it, and performers of a good standard need to engage in it. I'm not saying that's not happening, but it's not as prevalent as it should be. And if people spent more energy in actually writing good songs and send them in for Eurovision instead of whinging about the fact that, you know, nothing good goes, then if they put the same energy into actually writing the songs and moving it on and having faith and showing confidence in it, then that changes the landscape. It won't necessarily make us win, but it will certainly put us in a different space. We are chasing it now. We're trying to find the thing that we think has already been successful, instead of saying this is who we are. And if you look at who's won in the last wee while, you'll see that it's innovative people going in and saying, actually, this is who we are. You know, let's be honest, Iceland last year redefined again, you know, and rightly so. So the point is, Ireland have every ability to do that. And God bless, you know, people blame RTE, but actually I don't think it's RTE either. I think it's a combination of things that are going on here. RTE are doing the best that they can with what they get. I have been on the selection committee, let me tell you, and people are not sending their best all the time. So sometimes there's not a lot of songs sent in. You think that they're sending in loads. Necessarily, you know, and so if the songs are not there, how can you select them? I think we stop chasing the dream and we just figure out who we are. And that's it. And I think then we'll be successful. You know, even with Leslie this year, you can see they really tried to think something innovative. They tried to think innovative staging. They're trying all the time to be innovative, and it's not easy because the support is not necessarily there for them. There's a feeling that it's too parochial, but it really isn't. And now this year again, what are they doing? They're setting up a thing that everybody can send their songs in because people criticize them for that. So get your songs in, get your performances in, make a stand and go, I'm going to own those 3 minutes across the entire world, because the world watches this program. Even though it's Europe, it is the whole world watching it. And so you could, I mean, all you need is 1% of those people to like what you're doing and you're suddenly more successful. So why would you not want that? I don't get it. They have the same problem in the UK. It's exactly the same thing. Everybody goes, sure, Eurovision, it's nothing. And yet they're gnashing their teeth every year because they're not winning it. But nobody is stepping up. You know, you just know. They don't know how to make it happen. But, you know.
Time to step up, lads. Right?
Come on, Pádraig, get your old singwriting out there. I bet you anybody, we could do it. You know, we started together, maybe we could do it for another year.
That's it. That's it. You know, if they can't listen to the National Treasure and the Eurovision debate, who are them?
Come on, lads, let's get going.
But you were part of the carpool, weren't you? The carpool karaoke style thing. Yeah, well, it's
the funny part of that is I did that the December before lockdown. We recorded the segments, which is where they showed us. They showed it in the final, and then the carpool thing came up, and I did that. And I have to tell you, I finished the concert about 12 o'clock in the morning. By the time I'd finished with the fans, it was about 2 in the morning. I was back up at 4. I had to drive to Rotterdam. That carpool segment was recorded at 6:30 in the morning in Rotterdam, and then I flew back home, and I'd completely forgotten about it. And then the night of the Eurovision, I got phone calls, I got conversations, and I was watching it. I was a little bit behind, and I didn't realize they said they might use it, so I didn't realize that they had used it. And so I was so, and honestly, the reaction, if I'd have been in it, winning it, I wouldn't have got the same reaction. Honestly. It was brilliant, and so it was awesome. Fun. It was fun, but I was basically in a taxi with me and Ruth Yackett from '93, and we had a laugh like that. That went, but that was like at 6:30 in the morning. I was like dying. It was really fun, and what was really lovely was that means actually weirdly the last 2 years, because of COVID, I was on the main Eurovision show twice. It's nice to be involved in a party. That's what I can say. It was good fun.
Just to, I suppose, to finish off, and just to really say thank you so much for your affording me your time today.
No problem. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, me too. But just to say, like, you know, I know we've been joking about National Treasure or Quality Royalty, but you know, you really are, because you're one of our winners. You know, you're clearly in touch with the fans. You know, you are giving your time freely, and I really, from all of the fans out there, I just want to say thanks very much, you know, and I really appreciate your time.
Well, you're more than welcome, because I really appreciate all of you supporting me all these years. So it's kind of a group thing. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Therapy here.
It's like a group hug.
Group hug. Niamh Kavanagh, thank you so much.
Thank you. That's it. Ta-da!